Good evening, everyone, and welcome back to the land of Nope and Gory. Now, you may have noticed that there hasn't exactly been much content going on the channel for a couple of weeks, because I felt like there wasn't much popping up on my feeds that I felt like I could make a video about. And as a content creator, depending on what you're making, you do hope that you get a good story or something that can give you the opportunity to make a video. But this is not what I wanted to happen when I talk about this sort of the content. Because something else happened, hasn't it? And it's something that we're all too familiar with. And yeah, so you can see the picture on your screen. That's Alex, that's the victim, who was killed by a Syrian Islamic asylum seeker in Austria. And that's what this video is about. But something that I want to concentrate on in this video is not so much the attack itself. I feel like that's been covered enough by other people. What I want to highlight is something that a guest on a GB News interview has said regarding this attack. But before I move on to that, let's just not forget about this. So that's the piece of, I can't even call this thing a human being. Yeah, that's the scum who killed Alex and stabbed five other people at least. See, in this picture, he's smiling, happy as Larry. It took someone in a van to run him down. Funnily enough, it was an Afghan migrant in the van who run him down so the police could get their guns on him. Yeah. That'll be what the left will focus on. Well, they'll say, oh, it was another migrant who subdued him, so that means immigration's a good thing. You watch. That'll be the front page of the Independent tomorrow morning, I'm telling you. Anyway, before I move on to this interview, another article here. 25,000 migrants have come to the UK via Channel crossing since Starmer became PM. 25,000. 240 came in just 4 boats last Saturday. Or yesterday, if you want to be more accurate. Yeah, but 25,000, so the town where I live in, the population's about 50-odd thousand, so that's about half of my town. It's not exactly a small town. It's the largest civil parish in the country. But yeah, that's the good work that Starmer's doing for Davros. 25,000, so that's good, isn't it? But anyway, to the interview. So this is hold on, let me get the thing where it brings his name up. This is Amjad Taha. He's a political strategist, analyst, and he came on the Camilla Tominey show on GB News. And just listen to what he had to say. Well, we'll start from the beginning. So remember, this is a Saudi Arabian Muslim commenting on the current situation with extremist Islam in Europe and the UK.
East expert Amjad Taha joins me now in the studio. And to be honest, I was going to ask you about foreign affairs, and then we've just had a little chat in the break. And you've been talking about Britain's extremism.
You might be getting sound, but I'm not.
And you've been break. Welcome back. Well, Middle East expert Amjad Taha joins me now in the studio. And to be honest, I was going to ask you about foreign affairs, and then we've just had a little chat in the break. And you've been talking about Britain's extremism problem. You're somebody who speaks out against anti-Semitism. You speak out in favour of moderate Islam as opposed to extremist Islam. What's your analysis of the state of affairs in Britain? Because we've got the Labour government right now considering defining Islamophobia in a way that some say might open the back door to blasphemy laws.
I think you have more, well, thank you for having me, and I think you have more extremists in UK than you have in the Middle East.
Really?
extremists in UK having me, and I think you have more extremists in UK than you have in the Middle East.
Really?
At this stage, absolutely. The things.
There you go. So, political strategist, analyst, well covered on the subject, and he says, I think you have more extremists here in the UK than in the Middle East. Now, it depends on how clued up you are on this subject, but I also watched a couple of other interviews, and based on the amount of work being done preventing this sort of thing, it's not as far-fetched as you'd think, because the terrorism prevention authorities, I don't mean prevent, who, you know, goes to the house of a 12-year-old schoolboy in Newcastle if he calls his schoolmate gay or something. I mean the actual authorities that foil terrorist plots. They're foiling a minimum of one plot per day in the UK now. So when you hear a statistic like that, yeah, it doesn't sound so far-fetched, does it? But in this interview, he basically just spoke nothing but 7 minutes of complete common sense, and everything he said made sense. He called for the banning of the Muslim Brotherhood. Yep, couldn't disagree with a single word he said. But also, in another interview, I'm not going to play the other interview. In fact, I'll leave him on the screen now so that people can see the title and go watch the interview themselves. You really should. It's very interesting. But in another interview that I saw, someone said, it's time to close the borders. That's what we should be doing in response to this. Now, there's been a few attacks in the last few weeks, and the people that have done them, again, well, I don't like to call them people, but yeah, those who have done those attacks, it's not like they arrived the day before, is it? And I just showed you an article, 25,000 across the channel since Starmer took over. Those are the ones that not even interested in getting here legally. But again, even that's not the issue. Because apparently the one who did the attack in Austria, he arrived via the legal routes. He was waiting for his asylum application to be accepted. He went through all the legal routes, he did all the paperwork and followed the rules. And then he went into a quaint Austrian street in a town that's known for its winter tourism. People go there skiing, they go... It's, you know, you think of Austria in the winter, and that town is textbook what you'd picture when someone says Austria and winter. And they've got this guy coming there legally, and he did that. So, yeah. Close the border. I mean, obviously, close the borders. Yeah, close them now. Close them now, and don't let another person in, obviously. But that's not going to fix the problem, is it? And the problem isn't who's coming in. It's who's already here, and who's been here for however many years. So, yeah. Just be careful how you word your social media-based response to this situation. Don't just write on your post, close the borders, and think that that's enough, because it's not. Stopping more people coming is not going to fix this. These attacks are not being done by people that just got here a day ago or a week ago. They're being done by people that have been here for months, for years. So, write your protest statuses on Facebook accordingly. But yeah, I thought I should make a video on this because the channel's been very quiet. When was the last video? It was a while ago, wasn't it? Sorry, I'm on my main channel. I'm not. Yeah, 2 weeks ago. So I don't know. I just felt like a bit of an imposter, considering all the great channels already making content about certain stories. But I do want to carry on with this. So if anybody wants to come and get involved and be part of my team, if you like, running this channel, then come and do it, and we'll do it together. I'd love to work with more people on this and build this channel. Also, I'm trying to arrange a podcast with someone who was in the comments of a video related to this current situation, who was sacked from his job because, actually, he's replied to me not long ago, so I can just show you. Where is it? Here we go. Yeah, here we are. I was fired without hearing from a pharma production lab for saying Southport Killer was not typically British. A sensitive Muslim colleague complained and I lost my job instantly. Lawyers, please advise. GB News, please interview me. And I left a comment. I replied to his comment saying, would you like to appear on my podcast? And he said yes. So if I do that podcast, I'll probably do it on my main channel, but I'll post it on this on the Land of Nope and Gory channel as well, because obviously that's what this channel's for. It's for politics. But yeah, if you know anybody else who's been in a similar situation, ask them if they would like to do a podcast, because that's something that I'm definitely interested in doing. Because people that have been in a situation like that, they don't get to tell their story about how they've been fired from their job for saying something perfectly normal, perfectly acceptable, but because Mr. Fifth columnist guest citizen has cried to the boss about it, you know. So yeah, but that's going to be my video. Sorry for not making any content for a while. I'm going to try my best to come back and make more regular content. But as I said, please, if anybody would like to get involved with me on this channel to help me find content, maybe even write scripts for me, you know, and then once this channel gets big and if it gets accepted into the partner program, I'd even be able to start paying you to do it. But anybody who wants to come and get involved so I can build this channel up and get the truth out there, then let me know. Thanks for watching. Stay safe out there, and I appreciate your support. Goodbye.